My name is Chandala. Everyone calls me Nikki. I am a mother. I am a county worker. I help people find relief in situations that seem unsurmountable. And I like doing that job because, especially now, because people are finding out we have so much more in common when our money is funny. And so while they're calling to apply for benefits or things like that, they also have the opportunity to speak to someone that also knows where they're coming from, you know. And I've often found that when I talk to people at my job and they're applying for benefits to help them out through a financial hardship, that they're really like embarrassed or ashamed, and they also have an attitude when they call. And you know, as if I did it to them. And then by the end of the conversation, it's thank you, Mrs. Sanders, thank you, you know, because I'm able to relate. And I'm able to let them understand that this is temporary. It's not an indication of who you are, you know. And so I like that job, so I don't mind doing that job. And what I woke up this morning thinking about, I can't tell you because everything just runs in my head. But I knew that this was on my mind and Los Angeles was on my mind because you were talking about a story of, you know, I just want to interview people in LA. And so my thing was about being in Los Angeles means you need to be of Los Angeles, right? Whatever you think LA is, you know. And we usually think it's Hollywood, glitz, glamour, and money. And, or some sort of title behind you.
Right.
I don't have any of that. But I do have my discovery of myself in LA. So when you said that earlier, we synced.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this could be about who I've been in Los Angeles from a child to a teenager to a mother to now a motherless daughter, but very much grown and grown adult children. And now I'm discovering LA on my own terms for myself. I'm usually alone. And I thought about how fun that could be talking about that.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Yay. Let's start with, where were you born?
Okay. I was born in Peoria, Illinois. I lived there until I was 5. It's about 2 hours south of Chicago. Rich Pryor's from Peoria, Illinois. And my mother moved to Los Angeles when I was 5, alone, to help her friend, who was also from Peoria, who had 3 children, and she wanted to become a famous singer. And she had a beautiful voice. She was very charismatic, very beautiful. She could have been a star. She ended up becoming one of the first ministers of First AME, female ministers. I'm not sure, but I know her story was really fantastic. So I can understand, it was my mother's best friend, and I can understand why my mother believed in her and wanted to help her achieve her goals and her dream, and also be along and be a part of it. So we came out here when I was 5. And at the time, we lived in a house. I love that house. I still have dreams about it. Great dreams about that house. But I also realized that the house was haunted, for sure. I always thought it was haunted. But I know for sure it was haunted, and that my cats were protecting me from the ghosts. I digress. but on Alsace and Adams. So basically Redondo's and Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I grew up from the age of 5 to 15.
Mm.
And then I moved to the Valley and went to Van Nuys High School. And I lived there until I was 24 and had my first child. And I moved to South Los Angeles after that in 1996.
Okay. So, I want to know, in your experience, what is unique about LA culture?
So what I think is unique about LA culture is that LA culture, the real LA culture, from people that don't have a reason to be here, but we're born here, is that we are not pretentious. We mind our business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for them, we soak up the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the true definition of a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
And the division, for me, if there was a division, when the division happened, happened from outsiders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like LA culture, like I said, I grew up on Adams and Redondo for the most part. And from my walk, I can't remember the street names, it's been a long time, but from my walk from Adams Redondo to Bailey's Market at the time, there would be an Armenian bakery, there would be a Mexican bakery, there would be Jewish, this is 70s, Rexall drugs. We were all in it together. I had Armenian food at 7. That wasn't abnormal for me. Having cuisines from other cultures wasn't abnormal to me. Going into neighborhoods that a lot of people didn't look like me, I never felt unwelcomed. I felt like we all live here. I feel like LA really operates as a big small town where there are areas where, of course, we're not allowed. You know, there could be sundown areas, I guess you could say, in LA, but it's mostly based really on income. It's not about skin color
at all, right?
You know, it's about income, and I really think that really changed late 70s, 80s, where it was just like we're a melting pot and we're unpretentious. We're just living in our city. Our city just happens to be Los Angeles. But I'm a small town girl in a big city that people come to thinking that we are about money, about beauty, about health, about all these things that they've seen on TV. It is, but that doesn't make us pretentious.
Right.
That doesn't make us unapproachable. So yeah, it's an amalgamation of all the cultures and how we navigate and get down between it.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
And I want to add, for anyone listening or watching this, that so the pretentiousness comes from the people usually who are not from here, like you say. The one, and I say pretentiousness, like one thing about LA is like people will say, oh yeah, I'll call you, give me your number, or let's meet up, and you never like really, that never happens.
Right.
For me, that's like the hallmark of someone who's just trying to do the business of Hollywood or LA. But like you say, all of the people that I know who were born here, who've lived their lives here, are real people. Because like you said, a hometown, like a small town, it is really like a small town vibe in a big. It is a big city, in a big city. So yeah, thank you for saying that.
Thank you for understanding. Because I've also had a lot of people in my life, especially in the last couple of years, that are from other cities that are in LA for fame, fortune, whatever. And they ask me continuously, why are LA people so? Why are LA people so? And so when I started breaking down, I was like, really? What are you, LA people? Really? What does that mean? Well, you guys act like, and then I was like, well, who are these people?
Right.
And then she tells me, I was like, well, that person ain't from LA, she's from Atlanta.
That. Exactly. Like, first you have to ask somebody where they from before
just because they live here don't mean they from here. Like, you gotta be at least 20 years in, depending on the years that you came to LA. I don't know if I can say you're from LA just because you've been here 20 years.
Right.
Were you here during?
Right. How about that?
Amen.
All right. Beautiful. See? Okay. Who were some of the local people who inspired you here when you were growing up?
Again, I couldn't say it was any one person. It was probably an energy.
Yeah, okay. That, or if you have a list, that's fine too.
It was my smile. African Marketplace.
Oh, yes, the African Marketplace. Yes. In the 90s? Yeah.
It was African. It felt like, okay, my village is coming together. I see my people. Hip hop coming, how LA did hip hop, I guess. Which, what does that mean? I think what we did was, before gangster rap became the theme of LA music, and even the early proponents of that with the funk and all of that, hip hop was light. It was fun. Like, we took whatever New York was, but for some reason our sunshine made it lighter, and made it. I think the only what happened with when De La Soul came out. I felt like LA responded to De La Soul, and that's when I found the people that, because De La Soul came out when I was in high school, so I'm still trying to find myself, who I am as a person, and all that. So when I started seeing the people that was attracted to hip hop, which that's my shit, but at the same time that was attracted to what De La Soul sound was, that's when I started to build on LA's music scene. So the music, basically, not even LA music. It's just the music, our sunshine, and the African Marketplace encapsulated how I wanted to show up in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then we created a lane in Los Angeles where I really thought our version, or whatever we were representing as hip hop and soul in LA, was really spiritual. It was still sunny. It was still light. It wasn't heavy. We see how hip hop, like, especially in the 80s, the late 80s, it was black conscious. We were, and that was coming from New York. But then LA brought this whole hippie but blackness into it with a little funk, with a little rock, but we were conscious. And then all of a sudden, everything was gangster rap.
They slipped it in there on us. Yep.
And I felt like we lost control.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite place or area in LA?
My favorite place and area in LA is Venice Beach, California. I will never leave Venice.
Okay.
Venice is in me. This was something that I even thought of just while I was thinking about this, is that there are certain areas in Los Angeles, of course, because I've been here all my life, that I will navigate to and stay with. Leimert Park, all my life, even if it was just going to Thrifty's for ice cream. Before I ever knew what we were going to do, I just was in Leimert Park. I know Leimert Park. I remember going to Brockman Galleries and seeing this painting as a child, and being like, wow, that's amazing. Did not know that was the first black gallery in Los Angeles.
Wow.
You know, did not know that. But I know that I'm still in Leimert Park 45 years later.
Wow.
Venice Beach. I love Venice Beach. I learned how to body surf at Venice Beach.
Hey.
I had family reunions at Venice Beach. I did Sundays at Venice Beach from maybe 12th grade.
Oh my goodness.
To the time I was 23.
Yeah.
Every Sunday at Venice. So, let's see. And now, all these years later, Venice Beach is still my go-to place. I seek music at Venice Beach. I'm at the Townhouse Speakeasy at least once a month to get the music that comes out of that place.
They have some good music there.
And they have some good music.
Yes.
My favorite band is Catalyst, and they have a residency there that I have not missed in 3 years. So Venice is an area that I'll never leave. However, Hollywood, Melrose, Westwood, those are all my childhood places. They hold fond memories. I don't care to ever go into any of those spaces again.
Yeah.
They won't see me. I'm loving Inglewood right now. And believe it or not, I will move to the Valley in a heartbeat. I love the Valley.
You go back to the Valley?
I love the Valley.
What part of the Valley?
All of it. Everything about the Valley I love. I think the Valley, because I moved when I was a teenager, and it was high school years, and it was like, that's where
And that was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah, Valley in the 80s.
Valley in the 80s. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, right. I was about to say.
I was a Valley girl to the T.
Yes. To the max.
Totally. But very down, but I was a Valley girl.
You can occupy all those spaces.
And that's the other thing that they don't understand about us in LA. We occupy all of those spaces.
And it's not inauthentic at all.
It's not, I'm not.
It's integrated.
It's integrated.
Yes.
I'm not code switching. I'm really cool like that. I get along with everyone like that. And I expect the same. I know when I moved to Van Nuys, my first day at Van Nuys High sounds really, naive, but I'm in the classroom and we're all talking like who's new and new students in this 9th grade, and it's 10th grade because this is when 10th grade started.
It's 10th to 12th grade.
10th to 12th. So it's 10th grade and I'm in the classroom And I'm like, I'm so happy to be here. Like, it's so many people here. It's Mexican people here. It's Armenian. It's Persian. We're all here in this space. Black people, white people. It's perfect. And this Mexican student who was cool as hell, we ended up becoming friends. He was like, Mexicans don't like black people in the valley, in Van Nuys. I was offended.
Right.
It's like, what you talking about? We don't like each other.
Like, you gonna like me?
That don't even make any sense.
Right?
It's
How could you
sunshine
not?
out here?
Right.
It's hot. We got pools.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's when I was like, what is going on? Because we are this melting pot. But I do like the valley for that. And again, as the years have changed and more people have moved in here and more ideals of what they think LA should be and the opportunity that Los Angeles affords them between that sunshine and bearing your shoulders and, you know, drinking your $21 shakes, you know, where are the real people at?
Okay.
So I've been to, let's say, the small town I've been to, which is Peoria. Of course, when I go back there, it's family. So I like the green. I like the flatness. I like the camaraderie between family members and hello neighbors, and there's no sidewalks you might walk on. That's all cute. There's bunny rabbits and stuff. That's cute. That's cute.
Right.
I enjoy it. I really do. And I've also noticed that I like to feel how that feels to have that slowness because technically I really feel that LA OGs, I'm talking about from the 70s and the 80s and back, are small town people. We're country people living in Los Angeles, this big city. So when I go back home to places like that, I want to feel that because that feels like something that I'm actually from, but just been removed from. Yeah. So when I get to it, I want to be in it and of it. However, because I'm from Los Angeles,
only for so long.
Only for so long, and they also have an expectation of me as a Los Angelino. Who the stars? Who you know?
Right.
Who you meet? Why ain't you like this? Why don't you do this?
Right.
Or, you know, I have one friend or a family member actually, who kind of made it big, you know, in celebrity status. And she found out I was in town and she picked me up in her big fancy Mercedes and, you know, she wanted to take me out. We was going to, because I'm from LA. But what she's anticipating is that I'm the LA that
she watching on TV.
So I'm in your Mercedes, like, girl, you got a Mercedes? How you know, I'm just as geek.
Right.
Like I'm some small town girl. You know, not that I'm just this sophisticated Hollywood, whatever you saw on the television. No. You know, and that's when I realized, oh, there's an expectation because I'm from Los Angeles to act a certain way. Nah, again, that's from the television.
Right.
You know, in New York, of course, I love New York. In New York, I was like, shit. I found this is where I am. This is where the people are. The food is good. The people are beautiful. The Puerto Rican men, Lord have mercy. Everything was just great about New York. The style, but there was a harshness to it that I wasn't expecting. And even though I'm from a big city, again, I'm a small town girl. We're a small town. We like the beach. It's the sun. So I didn't like that, and I was met with hostility because each time, it's probably except for the last time, I come to New York excited to be here, and when they would ask me where I'm from, I'd be like, I'm from LA. Oh, you from? And I'm like, why we got beef? Why we got beef?
Okay.
So it's weird because it's more about what they anticipate of us than what we actually are. And you actually run up against it. And of course, by the end of whatever time I've spent with any of those people, they've realized that they have the wrong interpretation of what an LA woman is. I'm more of the Doors. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, beautiful. So I want to ask you, are you working on any projects or any ideas that you are going to be moving on in the near future?
No, and I have things, I have thoughts, I have ideas. I also think, again, that could also be limiting because I live in LA. And I know there's so many people out here chasing a dream. I'm not here for clout. I'm just living here. And I'm experiencing my city and I love it. And I also know that there's a part of me that is a backdrop of the city. You know what I'm saying? There are elements of me that creates Los Angeles. So when people, like when you stated, you've seen me around, but you don't know me. I know that I'm a part of this fabric, but I stood in the peripheral. I stand on the backgrounds. I'm just coming to listen to the music. I just want to hear the poetry. I want to see the beautiful black people that look like me in African garb talking about love. I want to dance. I want to hear hip hop. I want to hear rock. I want to hear salsa. I want to hear, Jamaican. I'm just a part of I want to eat Persian food. I want to, all these things. I'm just a part of all of what this is. I'm not here for the clout. I'm just living. However, I feel like I may have missed the bag. I feel like if I would have tapped in onto what LA can do as a Los Angelino, I could have maybe created a lane that I could lucratively gain from.
So, for us and for, again, anyone listening or watching this video, I love that I actually get to have a conversation with someone who isn't chasing something or trying to, get the clout. You are living in your gloriousness of your being. Right. Hallelujah.
Right.
Being a beautiful person, enjoying a beautiful, place to live in.
Right.
I remember when I did that. I remember being in that space, and it is such a luxurious space to be in. So I'm feeling that. Again, why I invited you to this conversation is that I see something in you. I recognize in your presence and being in all of those different places I've seen you in that, and it's not a lot of people that I see in all of those spaces.
Right.
So there's something, you have a refined palate, if you will, for culture.
Right.
And
our culture too.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that with what you've taken part in what you've observed that at some point, what you've amassed in experience and knowledge, that will be something for you to share with your family, or share. So yes, I do see that at some point you can and will turn that into something.
Okay.
Definitely gonna talk about. So even though you say you don't have a current project, how do you think I can, or someone else can, support you in what you're seeing as in possibilities for you in the future? I like that. Take another breath. Yes.
Support. Again, I know where I am right now, and that is an extreme self-discovery mode, and that is true.
That's fun.
It is fun. Right now, the support is that, yeah, girl, I see it. You got it. What does this look like? I'm still trying to flesh it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to flesh out my space. I was thinking about how can Los Angeles support me as a 53-year-old woman with 3 grown children and a very big zest for life still, and energy, beauty, wanting to laugh, wanting to dance, and also understanding I'm 53. And I was going somewhere with this. I think what I need right now is the support of, you can do it, even when you don't know exactly what you want to do.
Right. Yes.
Even if you're doing it scared, even if you're doing it alone, even if you're doing it at 53, what does it look like? How do we flesh it out? How do we navigate the city together, alone or with other women? And the sad part that I bring up alone or with other women is because, again, you want to be in a space where you feel like, at this age, I have everything accounted for. So at my age, at one point, when I was raising the family, I thought at 53, the kids are grown, the last one's in college, we're going to travel the world, me and my him. The him doesn't exist. I'm surviving in this city that is increasingly expensive for absolutely no reason other than there's a beach. And
right.
How do I, I'm learning how to keep my head above water in the city that I love.
Yes.
There are times when I'm actually thinking that I might have to either move from Los Angeles or get a second job to afford Los Angeles, or get a second man. First, let me get the first man, then I get the second man. Get the first 2 men with some money to help me figure this out. And then this is why I say there's an area, there's a lane here that maybe I can surf.
Yes, absolutely.
Into my own taking care. Because at this point, another person in my life would only be for the monetary benefit. Because we it's such a hustle out here.
It is.
That I feel like the love part and the joy parts take second into, let's pay the rent.
That, yeah.
Can we go out to eat?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so right now I know I need to do something extra and do something more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is quite yet. I've had ideas. I want to talk about it with someone.
Yes.
I want to do it. One of the ideas is, of course, how to navigate this city as a grown-ass woman having hot flashes.
and truth be told, these young ladies, the 20-somethings, they need that information as well.
They need it now.
Right, because I can't tell you how many of my students come in getting thrown out by their boyfriends or having domestic violence issues, having children, and not having a secure, place for them to live or secure finances to care for them. So women in general, older and younger, need help, or just more accessible resources.
Right.
To survive in this city. So on social platforms or social media, where can people connect with you?
I am Lotus__Nikki on Instagram. And that is my only socials. And it's private. Because no clout. No.
Can they DM you if they want to?
Definitely DM me. And if people want to talk to me, I like to talk. I have a good time sharing and being out.
Yeah, and I would say too, for anybody watching or listening to this, that Nikki she knows all the spots to go to. So for real, if you want to know what to do in and around LA, hit her up. I will even put out there right now, like, Nikki, every week you should just put an itinerary, like all the things you're gonna be going to, and just let people know, hey, go to Nikki's page to find out, like what spots to hit up and see her at.
I have been known for that for about 20, 30 years.
Okay.
And again, just because I know, not because I want to know. And I'm going to be there. I'm not doing this for clout. I'm doing this because I love the music, I love the culture, I love the energy, I love the sunshine, I love the beach, I love skateboarding. I loved Hollywood. Loved Hollywood.
Right.
I used to walk and buy records. What I did on Melrose wasn't buying clothes or sitting at the fancy restaurants. I was buying records and going to used bookstores. That's what, and I started to realize that the people in my city, they take care of you when they see you. So I would be in Hollywood with my other best friend, Chantal, and we're going to bookstores and records. And we're buying 3 records for $1. So by the time we've left Melrose and Hollywood, we have about 20 records under our arms and 5 new books. And we have a gang of what were they called? They were they wore the jackets and they would protect you at night.
Not the Red Berets.
They weren't the Red Berets. Well, something like that. What's the Red Berets?
The Angels.
Yeah, some angel, Red Angels, or something like that. But they would watch us. And then we would have a group of transsexual white men that knew us. And we'd go to Okie Dog or Pink's, and they'd be like, how y'all doing today? And if someone came up and talked to us, they would stop them. So, and there were white transsexuals, instant transsexuals, and Hell's Angels or whatever. That's LA. And so I just grew to know my city. I don't think I'm that girl, but I'm that girl.
Yeah, you are that girl. Yes, that's why you're here. That's why I finally had to get a chance to talk to you and not just be out socializing and hey, I'm gonna call you and we gonna see each other and
Right.
yeah, that
But
LA
if
thing.
You call me because that's how LA I
yes.
am. You can actually call me because
mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, it's not on pretense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just on, okay, what we doing?
Yes.
All right, well, let me know. Then we can do it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.